Can anyone hear me? Okay, great. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I believe that it's been an amazing day for most of us at TGIF. Yeah, thank you for taking our time to join us this evening. We appreciate you taking your precious time to just hang out with us this evening. Okay, so we definitely are not going to be here to take so much of our time. We just want to have like a heart-to-heart conversation, basically where you get into ask us questions, and we would be on the call to answer all of your questions, whatever questions that you've got regarding your transitioning journey or anything at all to make that decision into a new career, take that bold step into entering into that new space. We are here to answer all of your questions tonight. And I believe that we are ready for that. Okay, so but before we go on, I know that we are going to be dropping the link to the Slido. So we'll have that sent to the group chat early enough. So we'll drop that so that you can start penning down your questions. We are here to take your questions today. Whatever questions that you have with regards to your career journey, you want to move into cloud, but you need to get some facts right before you make that decision. We are here to answer all of that question. So yes, that's the Slido link in the chat box. And we also need you to share this invite with your friends, your colleague, your family member, whoever you think that this would be helpful to. Would like them to also be on the call today, this evening, right? Because you don't know who you might be helping. Some people are just stuck in a particular career, they are stuck in a particular role, yet they don't know what to do to, move to the next stage, right? But you just copying this link and sharing it with them would go a long way. So we indulge you, we crave your indulgence to please share this link with your friends. You can put it on your WhatsApp status. You can put it on that tech community that you have on WhatsApp, Telegram, wherever at all. So somebody might be there and they will just click on the link and that will be like a transformation that they need in their career journey. So please ensure that you use the link in the chat box to invite your friends, your network, everybody, get them to join this call. Get them to join this call. And I'm sure that it's going to be a productive one. It's going to be an impactful session at the end. So like I said earlier on, this is Ask Me Anything. Ask me anything. Anything related to cloud career, DevOps, you want to transition, you want to make the decision, whatever it is. We have the Slido link already in the chat box. So just click on that link and it will get you straight to where you can drop in your questions. All right. But before we do that, we also want to get to know you. We want to know where you're joining us from. So please kindly tell us your location. We want to know where you're joining us from. We want to just get to know you briefly before we proceed tonight. Tell us where you're joining us from tonight and let us know your background as well. Do you already have like a tech background, or you are a newbie? If you're a newbie, it's totally fine. We're not judging anybody here. As a matter of fact, that's the kind of people that we like to handhold to help them to transition into their cloud career. So let us know in the chat box. Would like to really read from you. We want to read from you, get to know where you're joining us from, and also get to know if you have any background in tech or you are a newbie looking to transition, basically. Okay. I'm waiting for us. So we have the link to the Slido in the chat box already, and we also have the link for you to invite your people to join us this evening. Okay, Samuel is opening the floor. Thank you, Samuel. Samuel is a software engineer, Java from Lagos. Amazing. Thank you for joining us tonight, Samuel. Thank you. I hope that the session is really going to be a productive one for you. Okay, so let's have more people. We have Sarah. Sarah, can you tell us where you're joining us from and your background as well? Sheikul, Rick, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. Let us know where you are joining us from. Solomon, Sydney, Abdul Akim. Let's get to hear from you. Victor, Joseph. We have a lot of people on the call tonight. But of course, we can still push the number up anyways. The more we are, the merrier. But let's get to read from us. We want to really read from us before we proceed. into a conversation or discussion, or have to ask conversation tonight, whatever it is, just name it whatever you want to name it, but it's going to be an amazing one. It's going to be an amazing session. So let's get to hear from you. Let's get to hear from you. Where are you joining us from? Where are you joining us from? Trying to check the chat box. Hey, just Samuel, are we on this call? Are we on? Do you want us to proceed to what we have today at all? Because I'm not getting our responses. I know that we are all tired. It's been a long day. I can agree to that, but then you are here already, so you can just participate. It's just going to be for like maybe 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and we'll be out of here. So we just need your 100% attention. Yeah, so let's get to read from you. Let's get more people. Let's get more people. Thank you, Abdul Hakim, graphic designer from Edo, Nigeria. Great, great, great. That's good. Welcome to the tonight's Ask Me Anything question session rather. Okay, let's get to read from more people. Let's get to read from Joseph. Let's get to hear from you. Sydney, I haven't heard from you. We are here to take you on that journey. So whatever it is, we just want to be intimated about what you do briefly before we get into what we have tonight. Olufemi, let's get to read from you as well. Okay, I'm not saying we should unmute you. It's just for you to drop it in the chat box. So we are not unmuting. Let's just drop it in the chat box. Sarah, waiting for us. Waiting for us. Okay. All right. So since I haven't gotten any response from us, one thing you can also help us do, just copy the link in the chat box and send it to your friend, your colleague, your network. We need more people. We need the numbers to go up. So if you can do us that or no, we would really appreciate tonight before we get into what we have this evening. Okay, Solomon Akinyemi, photographer from Lagos, Sydney, student from Dominica. Amazing, 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 amazing. That's really good. Okay, thank you to everyone who has responded. Right about now, we are going to be getting into this session. And I believe that we have our questions ready. If you don't have it ready, just use the Slido link to put in your question. And we have our CEO, we have our founder, a Cloud DevOps professional who is going to be talking us through and getting to answer all of our questions tonight with regards to how you can transition into cloud and DevOps. So right now, I'm just going to be handing over to Gbemisola as she takes over from here. Over to you, Gbemi.
Thank you, Ife. Powerful welcome. Big welcome, everyone. We're still waiting for your responses. Please feel free to tell us your name and where you're joining us from, but you're welcome. So it's gonna be a very, very close-knit conversation. No slides, no presentation, no formalities. We just need you to put your questions on Slido so that we don't lose track of it and so that you can articulate it in a way that we can just go straight and answer the question and hit the nail on the head. So please, the only thing we need you to do tonight is to click that link in the chat box and tell us your questions. Just like you first said, it is an Ask Me Anything session. Anything related to cloud and DevOps, right? Anything related to your transition journey, anything related to what we do at Cloudboosta. We're here to support you. We're here to guide you. We're here to hold your hand. Whether you are a new beginner into this world of tech or whether you are somebody who has been in tech and you're wondering the next phase for you. I feel like because we're now in a world that is fast changing. Like people are like, oh my God, I have this question, I have that question, I don't know what's going to happen to my job, blah, blah, blah. Please shoot us with all the questions, right? We'll share with you from our experience. So I have some questions already on Slido. Please feel free to add yours if you haven't done that. Somebody is asking a question. I am a nurse in the UK. What are the career prospects for me after transitioning? I want to be sure I'm making a worthwhile investment. That is an interesting and valuable question, because what you're doing, if you join us at Cloudboosta, is that you are actually making an investment, and you need to be sure that the investment is worth it. One thing I would say is that there are career opportunities available, and not only that, there are examples. We have testimonials of people who have come from similar background, nursing specifically, right? Nursing, physiotherapy, even dentistry, like different courses, and that's even for medical sciences. We have people who have also joined from arts and from different walks of life, so from different career fields that have transitioned successfully through our program at Cloudboosta, and that can be used. So there are opportunities available. One thing I would say is that if you are somebody who is just learning from who is just learning from scratch, you don't have any background at all in technology, you've never done anything, website development, anything tech related, the kind of opportunities that you'll be targeting after your program will be entry level junior DevOps engineer, junior solutions architect, right? Junior platform engineer or basic platform engineer, right? These are the kind of roles that site reliability engineer, DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, any of those roles are the kind of roles that you can access when you finish our program. And these are roles that people have gone through our program and they've actually accessed as well. So those are the kind of roles you should be targeting entry level if you're a complete beginner. But for people who already have a tech background, right, who already, maybe you've done software development, because these days, and I mean, even software developers are coming to us and saying that, oh, we want to learn cloud. And we understand that, because if you're not careful, you have to be very careful the field you're in. These days, you have to be in the field that you will not be replaced by robot. Right now, I can even develop an app, even though I'm not a software developer. But because of the rise of AI, right, you can literally sit down, have proper interaction with an AI tool, and you can build an app, you can build whatever you want to build. AI can now generate code for you, software, front-end code, back-end code, and all of that. So a lot of areas, AI can now, can now do design. We used to talk about UI, UX, and right now you can do UI, UX if you have a very powerful AI tool. Imagine, I mean, it's not even just tech that AI is disrupting, right? Even the movie industry, so many things are changing because of the way the world is right now. So you want to make sure that you position yourself in a field that will continue to be relevant. And what we do at Cloudboosta is we train you from wherever you are, whether you're a beginner, whether you're somebody who has a background in tech, and then we get you to a point of competence where you're able to apply for roles. Okay, where you're able to apply for roles. So please keep your questions coming. I want to make sure I'm answering your questions directly so that we can just hit the nail on it. Someone is saying that I live in Nigeria and I want to work remotely for an international company or even relocate. Which of these two paths is more realistic as the first step, and how do I approach it? So that's a very good one. This one, once you want something, you don't want to limit your opportunities to one direction alone. You want to relocate, and then you also want to work remotely. So there's nothing wrong with you pursuing both. Okay, I want to either work remotely for an international company or eventually relocate. So one of the things that you need to do, if you want to work remotely for an international company, right, no matter what field you are, you want to make sure that the job that you want to do has to be a job that is relevant to the country you want to move to or the country you want to work for. So you want to work for the US from Nigeria or from Kenya, you have to make sure that you're building skills that are relevant, skills that most likely are even in high demand in those countries. So you want to do your research and think through, okay, what does the USA need? What kind of skills does the US not have that they would think of bringing me from Kenya to come and work in the US, or bringing me from Africa, or where come and work in Australia or UK or Canada, wherever you want to go? There has to be a demand. Every country, every organization is looking for people that can add value to them. And you add value to organizations by understanding what their needs are. So you want to make sure that you've done your research and you carve your niche, or you build your skill. If you don't have the skills, you can build it. And that's what we always tell people. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, that you cannot learn. There's nothing that you cannot build skills on. It just depends on your level of commitment and your level of dedication and how much you really want it. So it depends on how much you really want it. Depends on your commitment. It depends on your dedication. And that's what we tell you at Cloudboosta. At Cloudboosta, regardless of where you're at, whether you're a learner, whether you're a beginner, we will give you the right skills, because we know that cloud computing is not just in demand right now. It will continue to be in demand, even with all the changes that are happening in the world right now. Cloud needs AI, AI needs cloud, right? So we've done a lot of webinars on that. If you have any specific questions, I can take that. But this is something you can always check yourself as well and see, what are career opportunities that will always be in demand. Even if we move outside of tech, there's so many things that will always be in demand. It depends on what you are inclined towards, right? For example, no matter how much things are, no matter how horrible the economy is, people will always eat. People always move from one place to another. Those are needs that will always be there. So if we now narrow it down to tech, we know that no matter how much tech continues to rise, there will always be need for infrastructure. There will always be need for, where is tech going to sit? What we do as cloud engineers is that we are the ones that manage the systems that technology runs on. That's the best way for you to look at it. So whether it's the servers that you need to manage in order for technology to run on it, the back, anything. If you need to build an application, you can't build an application in the air. You can't build an application standalone. It has to sit somewhere, and we are that layer. We are the platform, we are the infrastructure where people build. So anything that currently you see online, you type www whatever, and you see a website, it is sitting somewhere. It's sitting on a server somewhere. You load a Netflix, and you look at all the movies right there. They are not directly on your computer, but they are sitting on somebody else's computer somewhere. That is where cloud computing comes in. Something to Google Drive, right? It's right there on Google Drive. Delete it from your laptop. It doesn't matter. You will always find your image or your picture or your video on Google Drive. That is cloud computing, right? And DevOps, cloud computing and DevOps delivery just has to do with, the entire process from beginning till the end when it comes to deploying software. You check WhatsApp, and WhatsApp has a new change and it doesn't break, right? That is DevOps in action. All of these things we teach you from scratch. So all of these things require a level of thinking, and it's quite challenging in terms of the complexity, but that is also what makes it unique, because at Cloudboosta, we break down the complexity so that you can understand it. And it also makes you to be in a point where you cannot be easily replaced, because you're dealing with the things that will not be easily replaced are things that cannot be easily automated by AI, right? And that's where we come in. So let me look at another question. I'm not just a tech beginner, I'm also a slow learner. Does your teaching pace accommodate people like me? So I want to tell you more about what we do at Cloudboosta, right? I told you that we take you from a beginner to actually gaining skills in the tech space so that you can access job opportunities. So what we do is that we have different pathways and different programs. All our pathways are 8 weeks each. So you can decide to enroll for 8 weeks program, or you can decide to do 16 weeks, or you can do 24 weeks, or you can do 32 weeks. If you want to go full blown, come on board for the 32 weeks program, right? But our flagship, what we recommend is, at a minimum, do our 16 weeks program, 0 to Cloud DevOps. So what we do during that period of time is that you have to come to class on Saturday. Every Saturday you're with us, 9 to 4 p.m. Sometimes it extends to 5 UK time, right? And what we do is that we teach you different concepts on cloud computing, and then we give you the opportunity to build projects. While you're with us, you're gaining valuable work experience because of the projects that you're working on. And all of that begins to set you apart in the industry. And one of the things that really stands us out is the kind of support that we give our students, because these days, it almost feels like the knowledge has abounded. There's knowledge everywhere. But what makes it different is that you know the right knowledge that you need, right, in order to access the job opportunities. And the fact that you're coming to class every Saturday, your probability of finishing is 95%, because if you take the program seriously and you come to class, you already know that there's a minimum amount of content that has already entered into your mind just because you showed up for class every Saturday. If on the other hand you decide and say, oh, I want to learn it on my own, I can bet you there's so many of us, so many things that we've said we're going to learn on our own, and we haven't got around to it because there's nothing pushing you to learn it. It happens to me too. So it's not, I mean, it's no shade at anybody, you know. So but enrolling for a program like ours gives you that motivation, the accountability, there's community. We don't just train you. It's not just about training. We also teach you how to package everything that you've learned so that you can get a job, because ultimately the reason why you're doing this is so that you can be financially independent. We talk a lot about how you can access high paying roles within this field. So there's no value in just training and then ultimately, you know, the opportunities, you're not able to access it, of which we know that technical skills are not sufficient. They are not sufficient. They've never been and they never will be. You must be able to sell yourself. So how do you convince a recruiter? How do you convince a recruiter to hire you? How do you speak to, you have to package. Package, not from the sense that you don't have content, but you have content and then you deliver it properly. There are a lot of, I'm sure we all know people who are so good, but they haven't been able to package properly and they are not able to access opportunities. And this happens across every field. So that's what we do for you at Cloudboosta. You learn, you gain hands-on experience, you get all the support that we give. The support at Cloudboosta. Just ask any of our alumni. You'll be the one to say, please leave me alone, but we'll not leave you alone until you achieve your goals. So yeah, so you get support, and then we now begin to teach you how to put together your CV, how your LinkedIn profile needs to look like, you know, what's your you know, how do you prepare for interview. We do a lot of interview preparation sessions for our students and alumni, right? Interview preparation, CV review, all of these things. We give you feedback even before you go out there, and you have access to a network of cloud DevOps professionals that you may not have been able to access directly, but because they're part of Cloudboosta, you have access to that. So that support is there. These are things that you begin to consider when you want to move to a field. For me personally, like before I take on a project, because I work in consulting, and every now and then I move from one project to another, even though it's still within my field and within the same job role, right? Every now and then, you know, one of the things I always think about before I go on a project is that, will I be supported on this journey? If I go on this project, as exciting as it is, if I get stuck, will there be somebody to support me? So it's always a criteria for me to make it. So it's just something for you to think about, right? You don't want to enter into a field where you don't have the level of support that you need, okay? So what is the minimum cost of your training and training I can do with Cloudboosta to start my journey? So we have one pathway. If you want to do one pathway, the discounted rate is £1,350, right? From £1,500, and the value that will give you is significantly more than that. I say this all the time, and that's because I am in the field, and I know I've done 3 trainings this year using, you know, training partners. My company has sent me for training, and majority of these trainings, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, is thousands of pounds for 3-day training. And we are going to take you on a journey for 8 weeks, delivering value. And the value you get from Cloudboosta is not just for your time as a student, it transcends beyond that. You have access to your training resources up to 1 year after graduation. You continue to have access to all, you know, all the support that is available within Cloudboosta until you get your job opportunity. So there's so much value that you're getting for that investment. The more pathways you do, the larger the discounts. I can see a question on scholarship discounts. So we give you discounts if you decide to pay everything at once without installments. We can give you for that discount. If you're interested in our training program, please reach out, send a message to one of our program advisors. They are right there to give you, you know, more information. If you pay at once, you get for that discount, right? And if you combine multiple pathways as well, so for example, if you choose to do 2 pathways instead of 1, right, you get to pay just £2,400 for that 16 weeks program, for that 16 weeks period instead of £3,000. So you're saving £600 from doing that. And if you decide to do the, you know, 32 weeks, which is so, just imagine, like, that's actually 8 months. We're going to be training you. So imagine, for, you know, we're training you for the global job market, right? Some people have to relocate in order to access this kind of opportunities. But wherever you are, you can actually access it. So imagine 8 months. That's almost a master's degree. There's no master's program that you'll be able to pay, £4,500 for. It's significantly more than that. And then my question is, what then is the prospect after? I did a master's in the UK, and today I'm not using it. And I know how much. This was even 10 years ago. And I paid a lot of money because I just got part scholarship, not full scholarship. I paid a lot of money. Today I'm not using the degree, right? So you want to make sure that you're investing in the right skill sets that will give you the job that you want, that immediately you finish, you already get your return on investment, right, from what you put down for the training. Okay, so I've answered those questions. If you have more questions, please keep them coming. Someone is saying, are there cloud DevOps roles that require heavy coding? I'm not opposed to learning, but I'm not a programmer and I'm not sure I want to become one. That's an interesting question. So I understand that, some people are always running away from coding. But one thing I'll say is that for cloud DevOps, it does require some level of coding. And the thing about that coding is that it is not difficult. We will teach you from scratch. We will teach you from scratch, right? We'll teach you from scratch. You don't need to have any background. We'll teach you from scratch. So you need to know Linux scripting. And then you need to know Python as well. You need to know Linux, you need to know Python and Bash. Those are the 3 languages I would say you need to, so that it enhances your journey. Because there are times that you have to do some automation. And see, in this world that AI exists, there's almost nothing. There was a task I was asked to do at work. Like, I just finished wrapping up for work. So like, there was a task I was asked to do. I've never done it before. I've never done it. I just say, you know what, with ChatGPT, of course, with God on my side, nothing is impossible. And I just sat down with with AI, and we're just talking through these ideas together. And before you know it, and the person later on was like, "Oh my God, you've been able to do this so excellently well." I was like, "Yeah, that's me." But I know deep down that, man, it was my brain in partnership with the tool that is available. So I feel like these days we can use AI to our advantage, able to enhance your learning journey. It only enhances it. If you sit down with AI and say, "Teach me to be a cloud DevOps engineer," you will get stuck on the way, you get tired. So you still need human beings, but AI can enhance that journey. So don't be intimidated by anything now these days. There's no need to be intimidated, because you can actually learn like with humans and enhanced by all the technologies that we have around us. So there is some level of coding that is required, but then it is learnable, it is understandable. Okay, it is learnable, it is understandable. So please keep your questions coming on Slido, please. I'm not monitoring the chat box in case you guys are talking to me, because I can see some pop-ups. I don't want to miss out on questions on the chat box. That's why we just keep everything on Slido. Okay, so please just help us type the questions directly on Slido. Someone is asking that I have tried to study for AWS certification twice and stopped. The material felt too abstract. I could not see how it connected to a job. Sorry, excuse me. How do people push through that stage? That's an interesting one. So, people approach their career journeys differently. For me, I always say that it's better for you to have some practical experience before you go ahead and do your certification. It's always advisable. However, that being said, I've seen people who just went ahead and did their certification, and they've also been able to now build practical from there. That is where Cloudboosta comes in, I'm telling you, because our focus first and foremost is to introduce you into this world of cloud computing. You get to build solutions on the cloud. For example, our cohort is starting tomorrow. So if you're interested, you don't even need to wait for us to finish this Ask Me Anything session. Just reach out to one of our program advisors and they will guide you on what you need to do to join class tomorrow. So class is starting tomorrow, for example, and preparing for the class tomorrow, I was just thinking, okay, I'm just preparing the slides, and what we do is every single class every single thing that we teach you at Cloudboosta, the first thing, you're coming to class tomorrow, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create your AWS account, and we're teaching you introduction to cloud tomorrow. You're going to see how that relates directly on the cloud. So as we're teaching you, you're seeing the relevance right there and then on the cloud environment. We're going to teach you identity and access management tomorrow. As we're teaching you, you are creating your is a short form. I mean, the short form is IAM. We're teaching IAM, you're going to create IAM roles on the cloud. So you will have an appreciation of, how this tool actually works and how to find your way around even beyond what we teach. Because after we teach, as part of your curriculum, we give you projects that are not even related to what we have taught exactly, because our teaching model is to ingrain you with a certain mindset that can make you figure out as many tools as possible as tech continues to evolve. So there's a mindset and there's a programming that we're giving our students as we go on this journey of, you learn a tool and then you build a practical, and then you get stuck on the way, and then you troubleshoot, and then you find your way around, and then you have to present what you're learning, and then you present to external judges, they criticize you, they give you more insight as to what you need to do. So it's a whole lot. So everything you can think about as far as learning something new is concerned is already embedded in our training. I'm a teacher at heart, I always say it. I don't even know if some of my old students are on this call, but I used to teach secondary school math, and I made it a point of call that all my students must fall in love with math, and it happened such that parents started looking for me. But yeah, that's the same model. No matter how complicated something is, as long as we break it down in a way that you find it relatable, every problem can be solved. Everything is figure outable, right? There's a book like that which I love so much. So somebody wants to reach me direct, just reach out to program advisors. They will direct you to me, don't worry. So please feel free to reach me through the program advisors. They'll direct you to me. So yeah, I mean, everything is learnable, everything is figure outable. There's a book like that, and I love that book so much. So for us, we just want to, what we do at Cloudboosta is to break down those complex concepts in a way that you can understand the thinking behind cloud engineering, thinking behind DevOps delivery, and we take it bit by bit. That's why we stretch it for that long, because we don't want to do a job that is not thorough, right? So we break it for that long. So we have different pathways. So we introduce you into the world of cloud computing for the first 8 weeks, and then you now have 3 pathways you can choose from. You can choose to go down the advanced DevOps pathway. You can choose to go down the platform engineer pathway. You can choose to go down the SRE pathway, or you can choose to combine everything. Those are the 4 learning pathways that we have. So each of our programs are very detailed. Like, they are detailed, they get into the details. So you go through that process, that iteration of you learn, you build, we test your understanding through skills. You understand how to apply it in a real world context. You work with a group. You get stuck. We guide you. We show you how to use AI for troubleshooting. We show you how each of these experiences can be put on your CV. We encourage you to share. In fact, we even reward people that share. We have this last call, we implemented something where as you're sharing, you have to create a video every week of what you've learned. If you're comfortable, you post it online. If you're not comfortable, there's no pressure. And then we also design a system where every day, we're giving you cloud nuggets. I'll give you cloud nuggets every single day, so you don't forget what you've learned during the week, and you're just staying abreast, because it's a transition journey. Some of you have done different things for many years, right? You've been in nursing, you've been in healthcare, you've been in arts, you've done different things. So it's a new area for many people. And even if you're a software developer already, it's still new because you haven't done DevOps before. That's why you're asking. So we have the support that you need to navigate this journey, and we have success stories to also encourage you. So please come on board if this resonates with you. Don't let another year waste, right? Don't let another year just go by of you thinking about it. Like, there's absolutely nothing to lose. Don't let another year go by. We're already in second quarter. Before you know it, April. I remember when we did the webinar, Q2 is starting. Guess what? The first month of Q2 is about to end. So where are you going to be in May? Where are you going to be in June? Where are you going to be in July? Okay, I can see more questions on Slido. Please, can one pay per class? As I cannot afford all at the same time. I really want this. Please reach out to us. So what we do is we also actually have the opportunity for you to pay for, to pay for a pair of classes. So, but I mean, we would just reach out to us. There's a possibility around that, but I think the minimum is 2 classes because of the way we teach, so that we can give you something that is even tangible enough for you to go ahead with. So please reach out to us. We need to know exactly what your learning needs are. We need to know, do you have a technical background? But yeah, it's possible to pay for 2 classes together. So these are some of the flexibility we have to put in place so that people can still get value, even though, we expect that you commit to a longer process if you really want the opportunities, but we understand that people have, so we're flexible. Reach out to us. Please, Gbemisola, I sent you a message on LinkedIn. Please, can you check? Okay, I'll check your message after this conversation. And please, you can feel free to reach out to the program advisors. They will direct you to me directly. I think I do better on WhatsApp as opposed to LinkedIn. So please feel free to reach out to me. Okay, so I've covered that. So I see that many of you are using the chats. I'll just, because it's a small group, so I'm just going to look at the chats now. But honestly, because you don't want to miss out on your questions, that's why we always say use Slido. But many of you are not using it. Many of you are not using it. So let me come down and say, okay, fine, let's do this. Okay. I'm going to have to go from, okay, some more people have introduced themselves. Okay, welcome, Solomon, Abdul Hakim, and Nabulele Sydney from Dominica. You're welcome. Sarah from Oman. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I think you were first to join, Sarah, because I saw you earlier. Welcome. Rashida Alabi McFoy. I like that. That's a unique combination of names. Well done. You're welcome. 9 to 4 p.m. Is there a shorter frame? There's no shorter frame, Rashida. There's a lot to cover. So you have to, but the way you should look at it is that you're not sitting down in a stretch for the 9 to 4. So every 1 hour we go on a break because we want the attention rates to remain, and you're constantly switching activities. You wouldn't even know once the time is gone because you're starting 1 hour lecture. The next thing, you're in a lab session. Lab session means that you're building solutions. So sometimes it could last 1 hour, it could last 1.5 hours, and then you go on a break, you come back again, do another lecture, do another lab, you go on a longer break, right? You come back again, do lecture, do lab, do quiz. So there's a mix of different activities. So you're not going to be, so you won't even know, I'm telling you, because there's a lot to get through. So we have to maximize the time. If we do a shorter time, the part that you're supposed to do in 8 weeks will start taking 10 weeks or 16 weeks. And the part for 32 weeks will start taking over a year. So we've designed it, and we know that people are busy. That's why we don't do lectures on Sunday. But Saturday, you have to make that sacrifice, please. It's just for that period of time. Okay? Someone has already responded to Rashida. Hi, Coach Gbemi, how can I reach you directly? I sent you a message on LinkedIn. Please, can you check it out? Just reach out to one of our program advisors. I'll check my LinkedIn after the call. I'll reach out to one of my program advisors. They can direct you to me. After completing the 8 weeks program, what role can I be ready for? Good question. So for someone that does just 8 weeks cloud computing alone, your background would also determine in that scenario. Like I said, we always recommend people to go for cloud and DevOps. I mean, I don't know if the person I'm talking about is on the call, but we also had someone who had come to us and said, you know what, I want to do one pathway. And we told, do 2 pathways, right? It's better. They've done one pathway and they've realized that, you know what, the opportunities that they want to actually explore, it requires at least at a minimum an additional pathway. Our recommendation is that you do at least 2 pathways. But even if you do 1 pathway, depending on how serious you take it, you're already beginning to introduce yourself into the world of many things. So for example, because for the first pathway, which is cloud computing, we teach you both AWS and Microsoft Azure. So you can begin to look at junior architects roles, right? You can begin to even look at very, very elementary junior platform engineer roles, because we teach you cloud formation, which is a platform engineer tool. But if you had completed it by doing a platform engineer pathway, you will have an understanding of more tools, and that will increase your opportunities in the market. So it's not like you can still access opportunities, but it's going to be limited to junior architects roles, maybe cloud sales roles. Tech sales is also a big thing these days. Junior architect role, junior platform engineer roles, right? Those are the kind of roles you'll be able to access with 1 pathway. Okay, does that answer your question, Rashida? All right. I think I also saw something in Q&A. Hi, good evening. Sorry, this is my first time. I couldn't find the slide part. Please, can you see my text? I have a question. Yes, please feel free. Your question have to be typed, please. So please feel free to type your question, or you can click the link in the Slido to ask your question. Okay. Yeah, so please feel free to to ask your question using the site. Please, can we place the Slido link again so that people can have. Okay, I have another question here as well. Please, is there a different tuition fee for Nigerians living in Nigeria? I really want to transition, but I cannot afford £2,400. So that's someone that is considering the two pathways. So what we do in this case is that we offer installment payment plans. So there are installment payment plans available. Our training is global. All the lecturers and instructors that are coming to teach you, they're all, working in global environments. Some of them are in UK, some of them are in Canada, some of them are in US. So the quality of the training is what has informed, the rates, right? Because of the value that you will get. So it's the same regardless of what country you want to access it from. But one thing I want you to know is that you will get value in return for that investment. You will get value in return for that investment in line with everything I've said. I've subconsciously already spoken about the 12 pillars of our training, right? What makes us different from other people. These days, people can tell you you can learn with AI, but it's how the human effect, how are you going to do your teamwork, how are you going to apply for roles? So there's only so much, and that's where we come in. We've been doing this for about 5 years. We have the experience that you need. We have the network that you can access. So it's an investment is what I would say, but the training is, the payment is the same across board, across different countries. The training is the same. So, but it's an investment, but there are instrumental payment plans available. So please feel free to reach out to one of our program advisors and we will guide you on that. Okay. Okay. How can I best position myself for job opportunities? Would that be your next step after mastering the skills if you had to do it again? Oh, yes. Even as you are mastering the skills, we always ask people, please be preparing. Please be preparing. Please be preparing. Please be preparing. Be preparing for your job. Be learning how to do interviews. So all throughout your time at Cloudboosta, we would always, like I said, it's not just a technical training alone. We'll always have people come and speak to you about, how they got a job, people that have gotten a job after their training with us. Some people that have just been in the industry for many years, they'll come and share with you from their vast experience. So the first thing, of course, while you're doing your training, and even, of course, when you finish, you have to position yourself for job opportunities, and we give you the guidance that you need for that. So it's not just until you finish. While you're doing the training, we expect that you are constantly applying for jobs based on the guidance that we give you. So during your training, there's what we call job readiness sessions, where you will have the opportunity to interact with people in the industry one-on-one, and they will guide you on what you need to do. Anytime you do your project defense as well, because you have project defense after each pathway, you get reports every month based on your learning. It's a serious program. There's no jokes here, because we want you to be able to get significant value out of your investment, right? So there's something we call job readiness session. So with the job readiness session, we give you guidance on how do you prepare for your behavioral interview, how do you prepare for your your technical interview, how do you answer recruiters, how do you position yourself on LinkedIn. I can ask any question, and people that are talking are people that have actually, this is not theory, these are people that have done it and they've gotten results. For me, I've gotten like 3 jobs on LinkedIn. I'm telling you, this is no exaggeration. People have reached out to me on LinkedIn, and that's the one that I accepted. The ones that I did not accept, hundreds of opportunities have come from LinkedIn, right? There are hundreds of opportunities have come from LinkedIn over time, right? Different recruiters reaching out. So you need to know the how. So surely, once you finish your training, you must apply for a job. And like I said, even while you're doing your training, I remember when I moved for the first time, Mary Linda, please ask your questions on Slido. I can see your questions. Please put them directly on Slido so that I can. Okay. Oh, hi, I'm Mary Linda. I've been attending the webinar since last year. Hope to join this, but please join us. Reach out to our program advisors. Let's see how we can support you. Please ask your questions on Slido so I can take them from there. So yeah, so when I moved to UK, I remember from the first day I moved to UK, I'm not joking, I started applying for jobs. Even before I finished my master's. So when it comes to job application, there's no jokes. I'm telling you, I moved to the UK 10 years ago. The day after I got my, of course, before I even moved, I was already working on my CV. As people that in Nigeria you want to relocate and everything, you need to start understanding the culture of the country you want to relocate to. How do they prepare their CV? The way you prepare your CV in Nigeria, prepare from the way they prepare CV in the UK. So automatically, if you don't know that, once you present your CV from Nigeria or from Africa or from Kenya, once they see your CV, before you know it, they already know that this person is not from here. But how would you know that if you don't have the level of mentorship and guidance? And that's what we do. So for me, I started applying for jobs immediately, and it still took a while before I even got my first job. And they did not even give me visa sponsorship I needed until tech came my way. It was tech that saved me. I came from an engineering background, so, and I'm very happy. And that could be you. That could be you. The reason why I'm sharing all these things is I'm sharing all these things so you can know that that can be you. Everything that I've been able to learn, that anybody has been able to learn on this journey, it can be you. You can learn it. You can learn it. But the thing is that you need to get started. I started my tech career about 8 years ago. Now it's 8 years in the field. You are about to start in 2026. You'll be so surprised. By 2030, this could be you organizing a webinar for people and telling them that, wow, I'm so glad I made a decision in 2026 because now, 2030, I'm 4 years in the field and you will have gotten 2 promotions in 4 years' time. Very, very possible. So the question is, where do you want to be by 2030? You have to make the decision now. Okay, you have to make the decision now. Can I get a job sponsorship skill? Can I get a job with visa sponsorship with this skill in 2026? Absolutely yes. I don't even know what it means to not have a sponsorship. I've always been sponsored. I've been sponsored by three companies in the UK. I've always been on visa sponsorship, and it's because of the skills. So if you need a sponsor, like when I meet people that have valid visa to work, I was like, I hope you know that your citizen or gold. So if you already have a visa, right to work, maybe as a result of being a spouse, please, that's already an advantage. Because they're only, like, companies can sponsor your visa. Like I said, I'm a testament, and we have a lot of our graduates who have been sponsored. But in order for you to get sponsorship, you have to demonstrate significant value. You have to demonstrate. Every organization wants people that can add value to them. And how do you add value? You have to be valuable. How do you become valuable? You have to add to your skills. All the skills that are in demand these days, they were not learned in school. They were not. You see people that are influencing on social media right now, charging, thousands of pounds for advertisement and all of that. They are doing skills that were not learned in school. Those skills were not learned in school. So we're living in a world where you can be more valuable, but you have to add to your skills. And how do you add? You need people to show you the way. You need people to show you the way. Not everybody will be suited for social media, but some of you like figuring out things. You like breaking down complex problems. You like just let them just leave you and the problem, and then you can solve it. You can find your way around. Maybe tech is for you, right? Some people always say, what if tech is not for me? But I always say, what if tech is for you? Give it a chance. Give it a chance. Some of us give us a chance. I remember, in fact, I don't even know how I'm sharing so much of my story. It's about you guys. So let me just focus on the questions. But if I'm sharing from my end, it's simply to encourage you to know what is possible. Okay, I can see Joseph's question now. Thank you for your time, madam. So please, these are my questions. I'm in Lagos. Where in Lagos are you? Perhaps one can walk in to still ask more questions, as I was only lucky to join today due to work schedule. Okay, so this is a UK-based company, so most of my time is spent in the UK. If I'm on vacation or I'm on a break, you can find me in Lagos, right? But it is not my primary base. But that doesn't stop anything, because we can always have a chat. So what we do with our program advisors, or even with me, you can schedule a call. We can get on a one-on-one call with you. Distance is not a barrier, right? We can get on a one-on-one call with you and understand what your needs are and see how we can support you. Okay, Joseph, I have no idea at all about this IT kind of idea. I'm in the transportation job sector. Please, You just sound alien to me. What are my chances of catching up? So reach out to one of our program advisors. What we will do is that we'll need to send you a link to one of our webinars so that you can watch from scratch what we're all about, right? But this field that we're talking about is a field called cloud computing. And there are opportunities available both home and abroad that you can access. And that's where we train you from scratch. How long must I have to study this program to be satisfied, to be certified okay, to be a cloud DevOps engineer? Let me hear these replies first before I continue. Okay, so like we said, we always say give it a minimum of at least 16 weeks. Our pathways, we have different learning pathways. We have one pathway, which is 8 weeks, and we have up to 4 pathways, which is 32 weeks. So give it a minimum of 16 weeks, especially if you're learning from scratch, and then you can begin to access opportunities. So please, but reach out to one of our program advisors if you feel like you have further questions. But that has answered all the questions that you've given us. Please, does anyone, can location affect me getting a job? That's an interesting one. Location actually has an impact, but then let me tell you one thing that transcends, or that is more valuable than location. It is how good you are. I've seen this happen in my many years of being in career. When organizations identify a talent, once organizations identify a talent that is valuable to them, they will do. I've seen companies go all out. I've seen companies go all out to say, you know what, I'm actually going to get a, there's some companies that they don't have visa sponsorship. They don't have the authority to sponsor your visa. And they've gone to get that certificate of sponsorship just so that they can bring you on board because you're valuable. Another thing that makes you valuable, most of the people that join us are Black people in the UK trying to settle in, or people in America, or people in Kenya that want to relocate, people in Africa that want to relocate. Another thing that makes you valuable is that these days there's a lot of drive towards diversity across organizations. So sometimes someone like me, I even get headhunted. They may not say it directly, but I know that it's because they are looking for somebody who is in mid-management or somebody who is in management that is a Black woman. You hardly find. So if you're a Black man, you're a Black woman, particularly women. If you add skills, you don't want to get hired just because you're a woman. You want to be valuable so that you can deliver, right? And that's the narrative that we're trying to change, because when they talk about diversity hire and all of that, sometimes people think that we get hired just because we're good, but we get to prove them wrong by saying that, well, maybe a company that's looking for a diverse, they are looking for particularly for Black people, that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But we want people to know that hire me not just because I'm Black, but because I have the skills. And the thing is that this thing will show if they're already hiring you because of your skin color, just to fill a quota. Use that to your advantage, knowing that a lot of companies are looking for diversity, but some companies will never compromise, no matter how much you put yourself out there. If you're not good, they're still not going to hire you anyway. I remember going to, I don't even know if anyone here was in that event, but last year, I was at Birmingham Black Business show, and I saw a company there. And, you know, I was so surprised to the company. I went to meet them because I know the company very well. And what are you guys doing at a Black business show in Birmingham? I don't know how many of us know of that show. They did it at National Exhibition Center. I was like, what are you guys doing here? And they were like, oh, that they're particularly trying to hire more Black people. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. If only people know this. And I told them, what roles do you have available? I scanned through and I saw, wow, these are really good opportunities for even people I know. So my point is that some companies are out there looking for Black people, looking for people to invest in, but you have to be valuable. So value is beyond, is greater than location. A company can relocate you just because they've seen you as valuable. How do you become more valuable? By adding to your skills, by being diligent. So I'm not saying that Cloudboosta is going to be easy, rosy, and everything. It's going to challenge you. It's going to stretch you, but it's good stretch because you know the value you're getting at the end of the day. You will have to invest hours during the week to study, but we'll give you all the support. Imagine supporting you every single day. We're giving you quizzes to work on. We're giving you, you can reach out to us. Right, we have the framework already. We've been doing this for many years. You have access to mentors, you have access to resources. We teach you, we break this concept down as like step by step so that you can understand it. We hold your hand on this journey. We have very competent people, instructors, facilitators, administrators who work with us to make this program happen. So join us, join us. I'm just going to wrap up there. I've taken all my questions and I'm 7 o'clock already. If I didn't cover your questions, I think I've taken all the questions already, but if I didn't cover your questions, please feel free to reach out to one of our program advisors. Join us in class tomorrow. You can't regret it. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot. The world is changing very, very fast, and you want to make sure that you future-proof your career. So please reach out to us. We're here to support you. We have all sorts of different payment plans available so that we can support you on your journey. Okay? So reach out to us, and thank you so much for listening. I don't know if anyone still has any other questions, but I can't see any other questions in Slido. Thank you so much, everyone. Please enjoy the rest of your Friday and see you in class tomorrow. Make sure you sign up. The discount for one pathway, if you're doing one pathway, is £1,350. If you're going to do 2 pathways, instead of you to pay £2,700, you get an additional £300 discount. So you only pay £2,400 for 2 pathways. And like I said, it's beyond the 16 weeks, right? You're with us until you land that dream job. So reach out to us, steal the discount. We want to close down everybody that is joining. So don't start. So what people do is that they'll wait. Tomorrow morning, now start reaching out to us. I don't know why people leave this to last week. Just make this short now. I so you can prepare your mind and be the headspace for class tomorrow, right? So please make up your mind, decide. There's a lot to learn, right? Nothing to lose, many things to gain. Enjoy the rest of your evening and see you in class tomorrow. Bye, everyone.